Hey, everybody, welcome to the Modern Mompreneur Podcast. I got my microphone ready. I am your host, Day Smith. So excited to be with you guys for another episode, catering to mompreneurs out there. This is our place, this is our tribe to get inspired, to be encouraged, and to hear from our fellow mompreneurs and those who support mompreneurs. And so I'm so excited to have Jennifer Frye with Appreciated Assets on today. Jennifer and I are networking partners, and we met probably the beginning of the year, and we've just stayed in contact. She is such an inspiration. She can tell you about her story, but she's such an inspiration in who she serves and how she does and how she balances her very successful business and being a mom. And so, welcome Jennifer to the show.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
so glad we get to do this.
I know. She looks amazing. She's so cute and just beautiful on the inside and out, which you'll learn as you hear from her today. So, Jennifer, if you don't mind telling us more about who you are and who do you serve?
Sure. So, like you said, I've got a business called Appreciated Asset Business Solutions, and we offer a concierge level done for you appointment setting service where we set new business appointments for our clients with their prospect wish list. We do that mostly with B2B service based businesses, coaches, consultants, and home services looking to expand out to B2B. Um, and most recently, we've started to really focus in on serving a very specific demographic of single parent entrepreneurs because we understand that they need an extra level of support. We've got certain challenges. I fall into that category as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, want to be able to support a community that is typically underserved and goes unnoticed.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very powerful focus because, I was raised by a single mom. I've seen that play out in one of my siblings' lives. And so I understand the amount of just sacrifice you have to take it all on and do everything for your family. And so tell us more about your journey as a single mom and deciding to take a leap of faith into business while raising your son.
Sure. So I have spent my entire career in business development in some form or fashion. And during the pandemic, I was in the middle of a divorce, and the contract that I had evaporated very quickly. Within about 2 weeks of the lockdown, I'd been working for a company that closed their doors after 11 years in business.
Mm.
So I went from having a stable, secure income to zero overnight. Well, not zero, but pretty close.
Yeah.
And I knew that I had to build a business model that could support me and my child uh, in a way where um, not all of my income was reliant on one person and one individual and their decisions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's a lot. So in the pandemic, the job just like went away. Your
Yeah,
marriage was pretty much going away as well, dissolving, and you were
happily.
happily. She's like, I ain't mad about that. And you were also how old was your son at the time?
Oh, that was the best part. I was homeschooling a kindergartner, which I
Oh,
do not recommend.
no.
The school shut down. And here's the other thing, again, I was solely responsible for his care,
Mm-hmm.
for child care, for his finances, because it's just been like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't have any safety net. I didn't have a backup plan.
Mm.
And so again, like I did have to do it all, but I don't want it to sound like I was working 23 hours a day because I knew that that wouldn't lead to success also.
Okay. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
um, I worked hard, and certainly the coolest thing about COVID, I think, is there were no rules, right? We didn't have alarm clocks anymore. We didn't have schedules anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would work in blocks of time, some bizarre ones,
Mm-hmm.
but to get what we needed done, again, both to get his homeschooling completed and have a little bit of fun in a really bizarre time.
Yes. Goodness. So
Yeah.
what made you say that you wanted to go the route of starting a business instead of going back to being an employee?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I make it a terrible employee, as I think most entrepreneurs do. Um, what happened was I kept getting job offers for people who needed sales.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one individual who said to me, if you did for your business, if you did for my business what you do for yours, my business would double next year. And I
Mm.
realized I was like, you don't need more sales. You need more sales appointments. You need more opportunities. And I can do that for you. I already recommend you. I already think you're amazing. Let's identify a list of people for you to reach out to. And I'll reach out to them and I'll recommend you. So I really kind of created my own business model out of what I was hearing.
Okay.
I did not want to go be someone's salesperson. I didn't want to work for someone else. I knew that I had my son home with me. This was March and April. I knew that was going to be like that at least until August.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knew what was going on? So I knew I needed something flexible enough that I could be home and he'd be
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And you can't do that when you are working for someone and have 2 weeks PTO a year.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the beauty of entrepreneurship. I mean, there's a lot of challenges that come with it, but the flexibility and the freedom you have to be present on your own terms is a lot of reasons why moms that I've found that I've interviewed, that's so many of them have that same perception or perspective. They are,
Yeah,
I want the freedom. I want to be able to be with my kids or travel and work when I need to work and have a team and all that and not rely on PTO. And so that's a very real reality. It sounds like you've done it well and you've transitioned well in the midst of the pandemic, in the midst of a divorce, in the midst of Lord, homeschooling in a kindergarten. I 10 out of
yeah.
10 do not recommend over here as well. It's not good. But he is thriving and he's good. And now you are 3 years from that, right? We're 3 years from the pandemic.
Yeah.
And your business is thriving. What have you
hmm
seen has been some unexpected challenges or aha moments with running a business and raising a kid?
Okay, so I have let go of the idea that every day has to be a good balance.
Mm, let me note that.
Instead, I look at it week to week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love it.
Um, there's some days that I barely have time to get on the computer, and there's some days that my son is eating his dinner in front of the iPad because I'm still working.
Mm,
So, but if I can look a week at a time and see that I have had a productive week with my business, I have really focused on self-care because it's so important.
mm,
Sleep for me being number one, and exercise in some form of fashion. And then also being present with him. And the number one way for me to ensure that happens is making sure that this phone is in another room
mm.
because my business is important to me. And so it is easy to get distracted. But truly, when we're after business hours, it's nothing that can't wait. I've built a business where while what we do is important, we are not saving lives
Yeah.
and it can wait until business hours.
Yeah.
And learning how to set those boundaries for myself has been a huge learning lesson.
Yeah. How did you was there anything that happened where you were like, you know what, this I have to figure out how to harmonize this? Like, how did you come to the realization about the week to week, which is really important because I think that you will have those days that are crazy and life is lifing, and then you have the days where you're super productive and you could I know for me I felt guilty that I wasn't able to be all the things to everyone, that I couldn't go here, that I couldn't do this. And now I have it's taken a while. I'm still on the journey of letting that go. Is there any advice you can give moms who are
Yeah.
going through that to get to the other side?
Let go of what anyone thinks of you.
Mm.
First of all, they're probably not thinking about you much at all because they've got their own messy lives to deal with. But second of all, it's none of their business. They don't live your life. They're not dealing with what you're dealing with. And so someone else's opinion of you is really not your business.
Say
So you've got to
that.
let go of that. You got to let go of it. Um, on that note, you've got to figure out what your non-negotiables are. For me, specifically, I'll share it with you. So field trips for me. non-negotiable. I'd love to be on field trips with my son. He just started fourth grade today. He still wants me on those field trips. And as long as he wants me on them, I will be there.
Yeah.
That matters.
Mm-hmm.
Those are core memories for him. It's super important for me. And I'm so grateful that I have the flexibility to do that.
Yeah.
When it comes time to like volunteering for things like, fundraising in the gala, I say no to most of that stuff because my schedule doesn't allow it, and it doesn't allow me to spend more time with my son.
Okay. You mean like the
So
school fundraising and
yeah,
that stuff like
yeah. So
that?
like when it's
Okay.
like trying to do it all and be it all, look, I'm going to save that for women who aren't dealing with the amount of responsibilities that I'm currently dealing with. And
Mm-hmm.
there's no judgment there.
Mm-hmm.
That took me a while to drop that judgment, but there isn't. That's
Mm.
your choice for your life.
Mm.
But my choices have led me to a place where I can't be everything to everybody. All that does is run you down.
It does.
It's
It
all it
does.
does.
It does. I really lean on this quote that says, saying yes to everything will not make you a Wonder Woman. It will create a worn out woman. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's what it is. And I've learned from other mompreneurs who have kids that are a little bit older than, well, probably like your son and a little older, where they ask their kids, they get feedback on what the kids care
Mm-hmm.
about. Your son may not
Love
care
that.
about you being in the fundraiser or at the gala,
Mm-hmm.
but he cares about field trips. So now you can prioritize. My son cares
Right.
about me going to lunch with him. He doesn't really care about the extracurricular stuff at the school, but if I can
Mm-hmm.
make time to go to lunch with him once a month or a couple times, he cares about that. And that's much easier for me to do than trying to do everything thinking that it matters to him. So I like that you figured out what it is that is important to your son, and you focus and you lean in there, and you let go of the guilt and the judgment that you have around all the other things, because that's a waste of time, really.
Look, I mean, I'll tell you this: going through divorce will really give you a good lesson in
Ooh.
shame.
Mm.
There's so much of that shame to work through. So I think that's the biggest place where I just dropped other people's opinions. They didn't have to live in my house. They didn't have to deal with what I was dealing with. And
Yeah.
so their opinions just did not matter. And I was not open to the opinions of people who were not coming to me with empathy and support. Just was not
Yep.
available for it.
Got it.
So
That's
going
perfect.
through that will really teach you.
Yeah. What about, you've made some adjustments in life to be there more present for your son. Have you had to make adjustments in your business as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, keeping my calendar cleared and clean is really, really important.
Okay.
So I said he started school today. I have planned out now through the end of the year a 1 hour block to drop him off in the morning and a 1 hour block to pick him up at carpool line every day. And that might adjust as we do after school activities, but
Mm-hmm.
I have that blocked off through the entire year
Mm-hmm.
right now so that I'm never running late for him because it only takes me 15 minutes to get there, but I have 30 minutes that I've given myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not running late to come back because, again, I've got that time. And really building that into my schedule. Time is one of those, I mean, I could talk about this forever, but, you have as much time as you allow yourself, and you will expand into as much time as you give yourself.
Yeah.
To get done what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So when you can track that time, it's amazing how much you can accomplish and also how you can prioritize.
Yeah.
Right? You take care of what needs to get taken care of.
Yeah, you
when
will.
you have smaller blocks of time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that I like, keeping my calendar set up in a way where I have that time for him, because that's super important to me. And I was so tired of always running late and like rushing.
Yeah.
Like it's just not worth it to like be stressed about something that you have to do it every day. Like, why are you stressing every day?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Love that. So creating that time schedule when you
Yeah.
need to do something so you can feel present with him, but also focus when you do get back to work. Right?
Yeah. And I don't do this every Friday, but many Fridays I don't work. And those are my days to do things like get my hair cut, get a massage, go to Costco. So I'm not dragging him around all weekend doing errands.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? And so I really try to condense my work week when I can do that so that I can have that extra time to do those things so that when we are together, again, it's about being present and creating memories together.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have flexibility to do that as well. Do the errands during the day, like, not dragging my daughter or son to the nail appointment. They don't want to be there.
Right.
you
Well, mine
know,
does. He actually loves that.
See, my son would hate he don't want to do any of that. Like he just is like, I cannot. But just the hair appointments and like you said,
Mhm.
the Costco runs and that is very important. That way you can you're more efficient too, because if you're getting in and out and not having to
Yeah.
go take a bathroom break and pick up a snack and this and that, you can just be zoop zoop in and out, and
No.
then really focus on doing stuff that you guys want to do on the weekend is important for
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Well, now I want to transition talk about your business, because now you
Okay.
pique my interest in how you're able to condense and be efficient and profitable in your business. So tell me more about, first of all, let's back it up. You talked about you found out that you were basically given the idea from a client on how you can serve them, getting leads in. Um, Talk to me about, what do you feel like a client is going through or facing, or symptoms to say, I need Jennifer and Appreciated Assets help?
Yeah. Um, so no one ever Googles concierge level done for you cold calling service.
No,
Like it just
not at
doesn't
all.
because people don't know that's a thing, right? But what people are saying is they need more leads, they need more sales. Business is down, sales are down. Their
Mm-hmm.
salesperson isn't doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
Things like my team does great when they have meetings. We just need more.
Mm-hmm.
We want to grow. We just don't know how.
Okay.
We've got a new service. We don't know what to do, what to say about it.
Okay.
Messaging is stale. Those are the types of things. Um, because again, like we know that businesses, like you want to have the sales conversation yourself. You're not going to offload that. You're not going to outsource that.
Mm-hmm.
But the prospecting, which is really just an education and an introduction, that is something that you can outsource. And
Mm-hmm.
again, it's back to that idea of like we have to do it all. Says who? Says who?
True.
You know, when you can pay someone to handle that activity for you, when you have a business that you get a new business client and it's worth a significant amount of money to you, it's absolutely worth offloading that task, but still getting all the benefits from it.
Yeah.
You know, and what we
Yeah.
often find is that the teams, the internal, they're not doing the cold outreach that they should be doing. They're
Mm-hmm.
waiting for leads to come in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of sales, but it's not all of the sales process. You
Yeah.
need a prospecting strategy.
And I would imagine that everyone is not a salesperson. Just because you have hired someone to manage the client for you, they aren't comfortable or good at sales. You're not really leveraging their superpowers when you put them in a
Yeah.
role to cold call, especially. That's like a really distinct skill set. Like you got to be really good at the cold calling to be successful. And so kind of finding your need, like you said, and figuring out where you can outsource. You don't have to be everything and do everything in business. So that's
Yeah.
smart. Okay.
You know, I've been in sales in so many different iterations, and I've done where you do the prospecting appointment setting, and then you do the
Mhm.
sales and the follow up and the
Mhm.
contracts and the closing, and then you do the account management. And when you start, like that's manageable. But when you have, you know, the last sales iteration that I had, I was managing, I think, 95 clients actively. That's a full time job.
Mhm.
And then still being responsible for all the other activity, what happens is the prospecting falls away.
Yeah, you
And
and
then
you
you
get
have
comfortable
these
with your
like,
clients that you serving.
right.
Absolutely. So,
Mhm.
are you helping clients with not just the lead generation, but everything else that comes after that you just mentioned, all the way up to account management
We do some sales training for internal
training?
teams. We help
Okay.
them kind of navigate those conversations.
Mhm.
But 90% of the time, the businesses that we're working with are established. They're already successful. They just need help getting to that next level of growth.
Mhm.
And so when I say that, it's not necessarily sales help that they need. What it is they need help getting the prospects in front of them, and then they can have the conversation.
Okay.
And I
Got it.
really want to change the narrative here about what sales should look like or what a salesperson is or can do. Let's just start educating our prospects about who we are and how we can serve them. Doing that with some really great messaging, right? Really great messaging points that are compelling. 5% faster, 10% cheaper. That is not exciting to anybody. So you need some really compelling, reasons for someone to meet with you. But like if you've got a good business and established proof of concept and a service or product that helps people, you don't need help with the sales. You just need more opportunities in front of you.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Got it. Absolutely. So you'll bring the people to the front door, and
Yeah,
then the companies take it from there.
they do.
If
And
they need training, you have that, but they have that part established. It's just bringing people to the front door, meeting them, having them have the qualified leads be what they need them to be to take them from there,
yeah,
which
and
is
we can do
huge.
consulting with like processes and systems to make
Okay.
sure follow up is a great example.
Okay. Okay.
That's where most sales fall off. Someone's like, well, I called them twice and they didn't call me back, so they're not interested.
Yeah, yeah. The
You
percentages of
know?
people that need touch points, especially now in our attention economy or lack
Yeah,
of attention economy, you
yeah.
have to follow up for sure. So that's a great added benefit of having not just the lead gen, but the sales training and then the follow up. Because if you don't do that, you could be leaving so much money on the table as a business owner, as a business, period. So I like that you do that too. Okay. Well, I saw something online about you sharing the name, how you came up with the name of your company. And I was like, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. So share with us how Appreciated Assets came to be, that name.
Um, I worked for someone once that I brought in millions in contracted sales
Mm.
and went up for a review that I did every few months. It was actually on the day before my birthday, several years ago. And I went up there and after I doubled my quota for the month before. So July, I doubled my quota and I earned a bonus. They told me that I was a depreciating asset for the company because it was a culture where the better you did, the more they had to really keep their thumb on you to make sure you knew your place, to make sure you knew that you couldn't do it without them.
Mm.
So what I did was I left that meeting, and on the drive home, I named my company Appreciated Asset because every dollar, team member, and client through the door would be treated with value, respect, and appreciation.
Wow. Love it.
And
Love
then
it.
I quit my job.
Yeah, you was like, don't come at me because I'm out of here. I am the appreciated asset. That's like
Yeah.
it's like people said, I am the prize. Like that's what it
Yeah.
is. How dare I mean, that's crazy that they said that, but that just goes to show you got to be in the right space and culture. And that was the push you needed to start this business because you're now sharing the message with the world about the value of your people and that they are appreciated assets, and they're the ones really meeting with the customers and bringing them in. So why wouldn't they be a huge asset and something you need to invest in with your
Yeah.
services, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Our tagline is, well, one of them is what you appreciate appreciates. And I truly
Mm,
believe that. What you focus on is what grows. And where you put your
absolutely.
appreciation, that's what really flourishes for you.
I love
And
that.
so
What
we're
you
just,
appreciates.
yeah.
That's awesome. That is true. You pour into that thing or that person and it gives back to you. Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's wisdom, y'all. Take notes on that. Okay. I love it. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to transition to my favorite part of the podcast, and that's the lightning round, where we learn a little bit more about Jennifer.
Oh boy.
And whatever, I'll ask you a series of questions, and whatever the first answer is that pops in your head, just spit it out. You don't even have to explain if you don't want to.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What are 3 words to describe you today?
Grateful, tenacious, and happy.
Love it. Love it. What would you tell your 18-year-old self today?
We don't have enough time. That it's all going to be okay.
Yeah.
That you deserve to be treated well. And I really wish I understood more about manifestation, the law of attraction. I wish I understood more about how to consciously create your reality.
Love that. What does it mean to you to be a modern mompreneur?
Redefining having it all. And knowing that it doesn't have to look like someone else's version. We can make up our own rules for what works for us.
Beautiful. Well
So,
said. What do you love about being a mom?
when my son was born, I said it was like seeing the world in color for the first time and getting to experience things through his eyes and seeing the magic of things like a mascot, how exciting that is, or Disney World, or fireworks. It's like a whole new lease on life. And I just feel like my life began when he was born.
Okay. What are you reading, watching, and listening to right now?
I am reading Get Different by Mike Michalowicz about some marketing strategies, which is brilliant. He wrote Profit First. I am watching Outlander, the new season of Outlander.
Okay.
Obsessed. Sorry, I got something in my eye. And I'm listening to Michael Singer, The Surrender Experiment on Audible.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah, I got an eyelash in my eye. I'm not crying yet. Trust me. We're good.
Okay. Good deal. Okay. And last questions. What is bringing you joy now?
When I am fully present in a moment and time takes on a different meaning.
Love that answer. That's beautiful. Great. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. You're so full of wisdom and like clarity and just intentionality. Like it's just there and it's concise and you spread it with the world. And we can really learn so much from you. So thank you again, Jennifer, for sharing everything about your journey in motherhood, your journey and with your company, and just encouraging us to really have more of a life first business and be present and intentional and doing things the way that works for us, which is what all mompreneurs have to embrace, because the two things that we're balancing are so important in life. You have to find a way to make it work that fills you up and give you joy. So I see you doing that in the midst of everything that's going on. And I appreciate you so much for the connection and relationship that we have and sharing all of that on the Mompreneur. So anything else you'd like to say before we close out, and make sure you share with people how they can connect with you?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I think what you're doing is so important to create this conversation for mompreneurs because no one else gets it. There's something about having that commonality that's amazing. Getting in touch with me, my website is appreciatedasset.com. You can email me at jennifer@appreciatedasset.com. And I'm on socials. So there's Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. Okay. And, my last thing I would say, like I said, we're building community for single parent entrepreneurs. And so if you or anyone you know falls in that bucket, we would love an introduction and talk about how we could support you in your business.
Absolutely. So we'll put all of Jennifer and Appreciated Asset. I was in asset. And we'll put that in the show notes so you can follow her, find out more about her company, and especially those single mom entrepreneurs out there. Make sure you connect with her because I think what she's doing is very focused, and I don't find many companies really focused on that demographic. So love to support her. And if you're in that category, reach out. Thank you again, Jennifer, for joining the Modern Mompreneur podcast, and sharing your story. And for all the mompreneurs out there, just remember to give yourself permission to live out your dreams so that you can truly be and live your full potential. So thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to subscribe to the podcast and make sure you share it with a fellow mompreneur or anyone you think that can hear about Jennifer's story and be inspired. But thank you guys for listening. Until next time, y'all be blessed.